All righty, I've got 6 o'clock. Let's go ahead and call the Public Works meeting to order. Everyone have the agenda there in front of them. It's got the minutes from our past meeting. If you would review it, and I'd entertain a motion to approve, listen to some additions or corrections. Got a motion by Lonnie Taylor to approve the minutes. I got a second. Got a second for Presley. Any more discussion on it? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, no. All righty, we'll move right in. We do have a quorum, so everybody's here, I think, except Richard. We'll move right into discussion items, parks, pool season. We got Mr. Salee here to give us the update on the pool.
Well, it's been going good. I mean, it's the news wearing off of it, so it's a little bit slower this later part of the year. We were closed today because of some storms this morning and pending possibilities later this afternoon. So we did make a decision to close early this morning. Never opened actually. As far as in totals, we'll have those. I would say 1st of August. I hope maybe the second week in August before we can have all the totals in. We hired a new assistant, so as soon as she gets in and gets acclimated to what's going on, she'll be able to get some numbers together, and we'll have a total to report for the end of the year.
So what about, when are we closing the pool?
This Sunday's the last day.
This coming Sunday. That's July. July 23rd.
Now, we had talked about trying to keep it, wasn't that like that last weekend of the month, is that just not?
I don't have any lifeguards. They're going back to school and starting cheer camps and different things now that we're struggling now.
Were we able to get all parties in? Or
Yeah, all parties booked. We had one rain out this week. She chose, that's the reason we're open Sunday. She's gonna have her party Sunday. So everybody's gonna be satisfied for the year. I think that's what just gets stormed out this week. There's been one time we've had to roll it over to the following year. We'll give them first pick on the year, and they seem to be satisfied. So we've never given a refund or anything like that. We've always rolled them over and they've been satisfied with it. So hopefully this year we'll get them knocked out.
So the preliminary, do you think the year's gonna be as good, better than last year, or?
I think so. I mean,
Or-
I think we've had a real good year, you know, it's dropped a lot, but it's not because of anything that's going on at the pool. I just think the news kind of wearing off, you know, the lights are warming up, people are doing that kind of stuff too. I don't have no grip on the season passes or anything in front of me right now. Tracy came in and worked Monday night for 4 or 5 hours, and she said she wouldn't be back this week, so when she comes back, I'll ask her to start getting some of that stuff that can be totaled. Like the pool chemicals and stuff, we'll pick up the last of that. Probably tomorrow. We'll need another bucket of chlorine to get us through. I don't know how many are left over there. We ordered 10 to start with, and 5 more later on. About 2 weeks ago, we ordered 5 more. I don't know if it's the strength of the chlorine that's, you know, dropped off, the quality or what, but it just don't seem to go as far. Last year or year before last, we would put tablets in our chlorinator. We put 7 a week in it. This year we're putting 15 a week in. It's just not testing as good. We'll chlorinate it hard in the mornings. Everything passes the test. And last week, it was a late hot afternoon, and we actually chlorine had dropped below acceptable limits in the kiddie pool. I think the inspector came and tested it, and we got 2 points cut for that, but everything else was good. The week before that, the inspection was the 2 big holes in the fence where a new employee had snagged the fence with the lawnmower a couple of years ago, and it's just, I don't know if they snagged it again and make it worse or whatever, but we were able to repair it instead of replacing it. So you really can't tell where the holes in the fence are anymore. We just fixed them. I think we've had a real good year. I don't see us being upside down a whole lot more, well, no more than normal. Or in cost or up, of course, you know, everything's up, so it's just, we had another year, I think it'd be good, I think it'd be fine.
I have to say, I haven't heard any complaints or anything down there this year. I just,
We
like,
ran a
I think it's been
couple out.
running pretty good.
First part of the year, we ran a couple out, and you know, that, once they seen that we had people in there that wasn't gonna put up with it, it really did turn around. People that come every day, and then there's people, you know, that'll come once and not come back, it's no fault of ours or anybody. They came and seen, went on. I think it'll be a good year on and off, it'll be a real good year.
Is anything else we need to discuss in the parks?
I've talked to Amy about the fence. I know the park folks want to try to reuse some of those staves that are over there. So we're gonna remove them. I've got some high school guys right now, that we're gonna put on it this week and next. And start getting them taken down. We were waiting until school started back before we start pulling some of the equipment. As soon as school starts back, we are gonna start removing some of the equipment to the panel, moving the other areas of the park, some of the little spring rockers and swing sets.
I got any questions for?
Has anybody heard anything plan about whether or not we want any of this equipment?
I participated back with him. I know Mr. Demetrius does. I talked with her the other day. And he and her have been discussing, so I think so, yes.
We'll have to get a plan together to get that stuff out of there, because I know that they're, you know, we want to get them started just as soon as possible. Whatever they don't want, we'll just have them remove it, dispose of it, or there's a couple local churches that are interested in some of it. If the school's not interested, then maybe the church, you know, the church could probably get away with more than the school system for sure, as far as playground equipment goes. So they may be interested in some of the stuff that's some of them
One thing we need to check on, we know, last meeting, we voted to recommend to the commission that, you know, whatever could be salvaged, be declared surplus, but you know, I don't think it's not on the agenda for this month. So let me see if we can get that added.
And speaking of that, I would say if we end up not. Items that don't go to the school, we probably would need to. Would we not have to put that stuff on Go Deals? Let them purchase it, past that, we could just give.
Well, we can auction it, I mean, it
Well,
could be auction. Bill Scruggs just had an auction out here, I don't, he didn't have to run these to the deal, but. I don't see my way with that.
Yeah, an auction would work too, but some type of auction. yes.
Right, yeah, it'd have to be, auction. for
Yes,
sure. Or, just scrap. For those to say, you know, if the church went to the scrapyard and bought it. At cost, they may turn around and sell it to them.
I'm well with there, just make sure we. Keep that one. It's on the open. But I will try to touch base with, I'm sure I'll go tomorrow. And Miss Demetrius tomorrow to make sure. Of what they're planning. I know she was quite. Hopeful for that opportunity.
Does anybody else got any questions or?
The gazebo is gonna be another thing. Some of my guys have looked at it, they've been building for years, and they say it could be a real problem to move without it coming apart. If we do move it, I don't know if there's a location y'all would be interested in having to move to. There's not a real good spot right there close. Yes. You have to tear it apart. Yes.
Can you get with Amy or whatever, so we can get it put on our agenda about the surplus and that equipment down there, what's?
Yes.
We need to try to get that on
We'll
the,
probably just add it to the agenda.
yeah, just add it to it.
Well, we just need to see how we cut it, probably touch base with Mr. Bennett, just make sure. We got to agree enough.
Anybody else? Anybody else got anything? As far as the parks, the brochure that I passed out that we got from Blue Cross and Blue Shield, that's something, I think. It's not be beneficial to us. I think the mayor's will check in on that. I mean, that's something I think that. Hopefully we can get something. From them on that. All righty, we move into the buildings. First thing under building is courthouse. You give us an update on the courthouse, Mr. Salee.
Contractor, my guy came in and finished the ceiling tile, all but 2 spots, and it was, upstairs in the elevator room, and then, Mr. Jewell's old office, the actual ductwork where it comes out of the ceiling and drops those hard metal elbows. And, they didn't have any way of fixing that without tearing the ceiling tile all to pieces, so. My maintenance man went in and lowered the ceiling just a little bit in that area, and got it boxed in where it's covered up. It looks as good as it's gonna look, you know, it's, the way those air conditioners were left dropped like that is gonna be a mess to try to keep covered up. I don't know if y'all been back in there or not. We did clean upstairs courtroom, and the bathroom's hoping to have county court there this month, but Amy's tech guy coming. I think what's holding us up is the new commissioners have not been changed, the names have not been changed on the computers. Certain things as far as voting, a lot of technical stuff that hadn't been done yet because it's been under construction. We're waiting on that guy to come up. He's had some family issues, sickness in the family. So we're gonna try to get him up in August to get that taken care of. As far as ready to go, you know, the air's up and running. He's supposed to, Matt emailed me and said you're supposed to have a cleaning crew there this week. We hadn't seen anybody. It's up to y'all if y'all want us to get started or send them a bill. I don't know how we're gonna hold their feet to the fire if you don't ever show back up. I don't know. Like I said, we've already did the upstairs courtroom and shut all the doors to where it would stay clean. We're gonna have to do a lot of flooring downstairs. We got, you know, hardwood in the downstairs courtroom and Shelley's old office. And, the little hallway going into the downstairs courtroom, all that's ready for hardwood flooring. So there's no point in them really cleaning that. It's the fairway, the main hallway downstairs and the other offices that are down there. I guess Oscar made us deal with it, clean some of it up, because a lot of it has been done. The floor guy came back and looked at it. Most of the floors will have to be sanded to some extent and redone, just because of the damage and stuff.
I got any comments?
Is it a situation we just need to get running?
Not yet. I mean, the week's not up. He can send the crew in here in the morning and knock it out. But, the way he talked, they'd be here for part of the week and actually get started on it. I'd like to have this wrapped up before the first, at least before the first, second week of August, so they'll know we're gonna be in there for the following county court dates, meetings. But I hadn't seen anything, you know, we were guaranteed to be in there by the end of this month. And that's not all their fault, because like I said, we've lost a technician that can do all the programming up there.
What you think the technician will be available or get it fixed for the next few weeks?
I hope so.
Do we got to sign off on anything or they sign off for we?
Mr. Chambers signed off on the.
Did you tell me they got one sitting there, they signed it?
Well, there's still several things that need to be done. You would think we would do a final walkthrough. You know, we have all the other buildings we've ever took over after a construction job or a build. We've always done a walkthrough with some of the commissioners, the contractor, and, you know, all the people that were involved in the job. So you would think we would have to do something like that. We still haven't been offered the training. They're wanting us to drop us a cable cord right next to their unit, get it plugged into the computer where they can run it from afar. And that's fine, you know, but I don't want it hooked up all the time. You can watch the news about any given time, and if the county being hijacked by somebody here or there, you know, we're not immune to that by any means. The Justice Center, we have to keep all that system upstairs disconnected from the internet there, because we were told early on that people can actually hack into it, access court cases, have their way with what they want on some computer file. So we've never got full-time access in there. We've had an electrical problem or something that could be chased by internet. I'd call CHC and Google, plug it in, let them run their test, and then we would unplug it and be done with it. So there's a lot of things involved, but we're just not. It's not just as simple as plugging it in and letting it, you know, do what it's what to do. Plus, every time there's something a little wrong with it, I don't want to have to pay a fee just to have them get online and look at it. You know, it could be something simple. I don't know. There's just several things that I'm not comfortable with. It's really up to you guys. If y'all want to plug in and run it all the time, that's fine. But it is a county building with access to the entire internet system.
If it's hooked up to the internet, doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be on the same network as the county offices. Especially if that is a separate IP address that is totally isolated and called away from that. It's only when that line that is on a switch that is also on the same network as the rest of the county. The way I understood it, that isn't the case. When I've asked Amy about that before. In which case you would still put a managed switch in place that sets a hard partition and relegates it only to the IP range of the control panel. But just, I mean, giving it access is one thing. Giving it access on a network that has everything else vulnerable plugged into it is yet another story. It's not. It would be really silly, like he said with the court over there, what they do over there. Yeah, they have to do that over there. They can't leave that system on. But if there is if that network drop over there, or that that wide area next network access point over there is not on the same node as this over here, then that's a different story. That would be like somebody getting on my computer at my house and accessing it. It's not, they're not linked. But with a managed switch in place, you could definitely on that, you can, like I said, you can relegate it to the IP range of what those devices are on. And not have it touch the county if it's not on that network.
I know they can't access the Justice Center from the courthouse, but it's still one of our systems. I mean, like I said, it's up to you guys. But people all over the world getting hacked today, and they have some of the best firewall protection systems out there. Still getting through.
Do you have something to do?
I mean, it just sounds like to me on the courthouse, we're pretty much in a standstill, clean up and move on. That's pretty much where we are at this point. We don't have anything to hold a company to the fire. When we found out we signed that check over to them the first day, we accepted the piece. We pretty much put ourselves at their mercy. Honestly, that's where we are. We missed it, didn't catch it. I certainly didn't catch that. So here's where I said, we've signed that deal, sent it on, and because there's quite a few things that I could talk about right now that don't meet what we agreed on, but We don't really have anything to hold their feet to it, so. I think we're at time to, move on, and hope the system works.
Just hopefully we can get in there, but in the August.
When I do have one question on that. When does the, generally on an install, you have 1 year of service from the day it was installed or from the time you signed off on it. So is our 1 year started when they started working, when we signed it then, or is it going to start? Because like you said, a walkthrough and a sign off is usually when you have that.
I wouldn't think it would start till we were at least told it's up and running and ready to go, and I hadn't heard that. Like I said, we're still supposed to do some training on how to operate the system. I just, I don't know, I'm at my wit's end with this. So we're at the point where we either need to swallow the pill and get over and get started and cleaning and doing what we want to do. But like I said, they're supposed to be here this week. Who's to say whether they're not gonna be here tomorrow or Friday, but
If they're not, then we just, Brandon needs to go after it, and then we just need to move on. He needs to proceed as we discussed before.
When's the last time you talked to someone? Was it training? or-
he emailed me earlier this week and asked about the drive. Or they're next to the system, but I mean, as far as that goes, the actual patch panel is 4 feet from it. There's nothing to run a cable from there down to where they're running to go ahead and access the system and start doing it. I don't know if they're just trying to buy time or what. We can put a drop in the morning. That's no big deal. But that's not what's on them about. Because they've been plugged into it, when they first turned power on, they had 5 techs over plugged into it and setting up the system. So
Mayor, have you had any
it's not me.
correspondence with it?
No, we'll call. We'll leave an email, call.
Oh, okay.
Somebody puts it there and hang on to it.
Yeah.
We've got all our LEDs in downstairs. I think Danny finished today. We had some 2x2s ordered for the back part and 2x2 for over the quilt to put in. They came in damaged. We ordered 6, 5 of them were damaged. We had to send those back and we got the new ones in today. And I know he took 2 and went over to put them in the hallway, just the hallway there where the bathrooms are, to light that up. I doubt he got the quilt and stuff done. He's laying them in the day. We're moving forward. We're just gonna keep moving forward.
All righty, anything else? On the courthouse and then be brought up. If not, we'll move into others, any other items need to be brought up tonight.
The new backhoe came in last Friday. It's here. The thumb for the back is on kind of a back order. It said to be a couple of months before we could get it on in here and installed. We're kind of waiting on that, but it's a nice machine. We used it the first part of the week to do some work over here in the park. We'll start tearing the playground equipment up, like I said, soon school will be back, so. That's here. We still hadn't heard anything from the new truck. Called him 3 weeks ago on a Friday. He said, I'll call you right back. He emailed me Wednesday following week and said he hadn't heard anything. He'll let me know when he does, so. It's been at the chassis left back when it was supposed to. They got it when they were supposed to get it to the body shop to have the body put on it. But he told me it would be a month putting that on. It's been 2.5 now. It's 3 months.
Are you been able to make do? I know you had a truck that's pretty much down on
We're living on prayer. We're basically,
it.
we didn't think it would make it once hot weather got here. I mean, it's just the slobber oil all over the place. It's just a wore out. It's wore completely out. We're making it. We set up an account with Premier in Ohio to rent one. we're just gonna try to hold off from that one now. If we rent it today, new one probably here first of weeks for big points. We're just gonna hold off.
So when are you thinking the new one might be in?
on it. I'm not pushing y'all for a decision, but I'm gonna lose my high school kids next week. So if there's anything I want us to do in the courthouse, I'd like to do it while I got to sit there on the payroll.
Is that including the flooring you were talking about?
Just clean up, you know, all their cardboard, all their papers still taped to the floor. Lee Elmore's the one that does our flooring. He didn't get a good look at that floor just because of the, you know, we don't know what kind of scuff marks are gonna be under that paper. We've got some new, another thing that they did that he hadn't got back to me on is the electrician was supposed to be there this week to look at. When they were doing some work upstairs, they shorted out some wires in the ceiling downstairs, and it actually runs the east side outlets on in the main courtroom and the jury room, all the outlets in there, it burned all that up. So it's kind of on them to rewire it. And he said he was gonna send an electrician. Danny's located it. It probably cost us $1,000-1,500 for us to fix it. But I feel like it's on them. The way he thought he was gonna fix it, but I haven't seen anybody still, so. Like I said, this is one of these things, if he don't show back up, there's nothing we can do, and I don't wanna be December getting y'all back in the courthouse.
Maybe the mayor or the Brandon can get over somebody next day, I tell you, we can get some final answers on this, where we can make some.
I know it hadn't been a week, you know, we said we'll be here this week, but we're getting down to the nuts and bolts. I wanna start people doing what they say they're gonna do.
I'd say if you got the help for the next week, make use of it.
I make a motion to give them the go ahead to start cleaning up.
You got the guys you say?
Right now, we've got a couple of high school kids. A couple other guys, you know, we can utilize to get something, but it'll happen a lot quicker if we just go ahead and do it.
You got a motion?
I'll say.
Second by Gully, motion by Presley, second by Gully. Any more discussion on this item?
Worst case scenario, they come in behind us and do a better job.
Not a bad idea at all.
All in favor, say aye. Exactly. Do that. Anything else we need to bring
If
up?
I can be.
Anything else? Any public, next thing is public comment. Any public comment? I don't see nobody from the public. So next, I hear a motion to adjourn. There's a motion to adjourn by Gregory, second by Alan Carmen. Appreciate y'all coming. Hey, we need
Tables and
to,
chairs have to
we
be.
probably need to schedule another meeting in August.